back with another video. Today we're going to be doing a pretty small task, and that's just going to be finishing up the ability to make edits on our existing task completions. If you remember in our last video, we actually have the ability to make these changes now. We should be able to, but we have this 404. So it still says 99. So today we're going to just add the back end, and then we'll make sure that it gets all hooked up in the front. So let's go ahead and jump on over to that. Let's go to our API and let's run our tests. And we'll open up our file, and we are going to first add our tests like we always have. And so we have this third object, right, task 3. And so down below is where we are doing our completed ats. So we have these gets completed, and we're just gonna go ahead and add another one of these. And essentially what we're gonna do is when we do a put, it's only going to update the date. So let's, at least for now, we are going to first, let's go ahead and post a completed at with our third task. So we have a task 3, and because we don't have a let's go ahead and run these. We do see one failure, and that's because we don't have a numeric coming back. So we'll even echo this out or log out our response.body, and we should see something that's saying, hey, you know, your value needs to be a numeric or something like that. Okay, so our data is not provided at all. So we're going to go ahead and add this because we're not really testing this. Post numerical task, and so our data, we are going to just put in 10 for now, and this should pass, and we should go green now. Oh, and it's here should be task3.uid. Okay, so there's our passing test. Now what we want to do is we actually want to, we have this post. Yeah, we are actually going to get we're going to get, after we do this task 3 completed. And let's see. Okay, so we've posted. Now what we want to do is we are going to put on our task completed, and it should respond with a 200, or maybe puts our 201, I forget. Put, what have we, okay, so we're going to respond with a 201. And so we should respond with a 201 and a, what have we been responding then with our other tasks? Put 201, and it's the body of the updated object. So that's what we're going to do as well. We're going to respond with the body. So we should respond with the 201 and the task completion and the updated task completion body. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to set a put here. Let's remember how to do this. So this is going to be a put. And actually what we're going to do at first is we're going to get our task 3. We're going to say task completions, or I'll say task 3 completions. and we really should be expecting a size of 1, right? So let's verify that this test is actually passing. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do our, we're going to get our 1 completion, and then we're going to do this put. So here you actually have, okay, this actually looks good. Let's see if this is going to write our test. So we do want our response, and we want, that looks good. That looks fine. This might fail. There we go. So task 3, completion UID remains the same. So we got a 404. And so the reason for that is just because, we don't even have this at all. So we want to do a router.post, that's fine. So here we go. We're gonna copy a lot of this route, except we are gonna do a put. And let's see if we can get some completion here. Okay, we're not, and that's fine. So we're gonna get some, we're gonna have the, how do we call this in the other step? The completed UID. Okay. And let's go ahead and go through this. If there is no task, I guess this is, if there is no task, we're sending back a 404, or if the user doesn't have access, we're getting a 403. That seems good. Validate the task completion. I'm gonna put a little to do. Validate that the task UID and completed UID match. Yeah, I suppose we do want to do that, because what we're in the end trying to do is, so this is validating that there is, no problem here. But we also want to go ahead and get the, so this is getting the task. What we really want to do is get the task UID and the task, I suppose, to verify that they have actual access. How do we do this in our delete? So our task verifies that, well, how do they get this task UID? So this is actually interesting. Is this possible that if we had a task on one user and then a UID on a completely unrelated task, I think this would actually go get through this, because we're not validating that. So maybe perhaps even this here. So this really should be task. I think we have to do an and where. Our task UID should actually be like this, technically, because we want to verify both of those. So I think what we can do is really copy a lot of this logic here in our put. This is a post. Did we have 2 posts now? Yeah, we do. So this is really a router.put. And yeah, a lot of this is actually going to be the same as when we delete, except we are going to have to do a validation too. So we have this, we've validated that the user is actually, we can do this. Now we are going to, let's go ahead and get our, let's validate the body itself. And now we don't want to delete, we want to do an update. So let's actually see, this is how an update is actually provided. So we're just gonna take all this code here and bring this down below, and we are gonna update this guy. We are only, this is a task completion entity, and this is the completed UID, which this UID should just be like this, request.body.data, and we are going to respond with the task completion. So let's go ahead and look at these tasks and see if we're passing now. Okay, so let's run this one more time to make sure we're updated all the way. We're passing 25, and we're getting, obviously we're getting a failure, it looks like. Let's see where we're failing. Okay, well, we're getting a couple failures, and that's fine because we're getting this first failure here, and we'll actually see where it's failing. So missing from clause for table task. So let's see where that is coming from. Oh, it's because we're not, yeah, this needs to be, this is actually task UID on this on where here. Okay, we get an instant fail, which we're going to get the same failures before. Let's see what this failure is here again. Okay, we are missing a from clause from our task. Interesting. Oh, and it's because we have the same problem going on here. Oh, yeah, it's here, but this is the task UID. And is our other one a task UID? Yeah. All right, so we are, okay, cool. This is great. So we're getting a 400 still. And what is our actual error message is what I would like to see. So let's go ahead and log out our response. Oh, and we need to, oh no, that looks fine. Oh, we want to do the response.body. I'm going to log that out. Okay. Completed as a required field. So what we don't want to do on this validate task completion, I think what we want to do is we're going to take a lot of this logic, but we really want to do, we're going to just make another function called validate task completion update. And we'll take the same parameters and what we'll do is, I don't want all this. Okay, we want a lot of this. Ideally, though, I think what we can do is we only want to check some items, right? You know, technically, we really could probably do some more logic for checking the data only and kind of applying like, oh, if this is an update, then apply these validations, and if it's a, you know, a new update, we'll do others. But I think for now, I think what I'd like to do is something a little bit simpler. I feel like there is no need to get things, maybe, you know, spend the time on the refactoring if, yeah, maybe maybe it's just not required. So what we'll do is we'll do const update errors and that, and then what we'll do is yeah, we'll just do something like this where we are, we'll log them out like that. And are we using this anywhere else yet? No. So we're going to validate task completion. We want to do it on our puts. So where is our put code? Here we go. All right. So let's see if we get a pass now. Okay. We are getting back a UID, complete lat, and a data. We are, it's interesting. I see that our task UID itself is blank. That seems wrong to me, that we would only be getting the UID, the complete lat. Let's see. I see this request.body. Let's just go ahead and log out what is in our task completion object itself, and we'll log out what is in our body object, and we'll see. All right, so let's refresh one more time. Okay, so our task UID is actually undefined here, which is really interesting considering we should only be getting, so if there's no task completion, select, maybe if we do all. It's really interesting. It's kind of weird that it's not pulling, and if we even go into our test database, or even our real database, and we look at some of these completions, they should have, yeah, they do have a task completion object on there. So that's interesting to me personally. And we're only getting the one, I believe. So it's interesting. This is 3.2, and up here, yeah, the task UID is definitely blank. Yeah, this is really interesting that maybe if I do a select and we specifically ask for the parameters that we want. So yeah, we can just ask for all of these. Yeah, we want that. We don't really care about the complete app, but we'll get it. So let's just ask for all the objects back, and let's see if we actually can get these here. Okay, so we're definitely not getting the task UID back at all, which is really very curious to me. If we don't have the task UID, then how are we getting this back? I mean, if we just simply console log out our task completion object, I thought that's what we're doing here. So yeah, it should be the same thing. Yeah, we see this UID. Well, then how in the world, and what is this task UID? This has to be non-null, right? This is an actual value here. Yeah, it's 40,000. Now if I go to our test database, and let's just take a look in here. Let's It's always interesting. Some of the easiest tasks end up being you can have problems on. So 40C66, that actually looks correct now. You see that here, and yet when we're fetching, we are not getting back our other items. Is it because we're not joining that table, perhaps? Chat GPT. Let's ask type ORM my I'll just say something. Why is task UID not being returned when it is on the entity? Okay. If you want to include from, you may need to join the related entity and select its fields accordingly. All right, I mean, I guess we can do that. We can just do a left. This is just an inner join. And we're just gonna select the task, and perhaps that's gonna work. We will see. Task UID is still empty here. I'll just do inner join and select. And we can do this. And now let's see what comes out of our query. All right, so task UID is still empty. So really interesting here. I'm not really sure, but honestly, I am not really wanting to fight this. So what we're gonna do is just very simply put this guy like this, and or so the task UID is equal to task.uid. Yeah, I don't really want to fight this, honestly. So we're just gonna kind of skip through it. I mean, we're overriding it a little bit. Type RM, I guess, is just being a little funky. So let's take that out. So we are able to change it with a put, and we're gonna add one more test, and that's gonna be make sure our validator is working. So we'll go ahead and do a 400. And what we will do is, so we want the 200, yes, that looks good. But now we're going to do something like leave, we're gonna just do ASD, and we want this to be a 400, and we want the response body to have data, and we'll just say something like this for now. Okay, that's the error that we want. Okay, so this should fix our task. We're gonna restart our app, and then we're gonna see if things are working. Go back, whoops. Interesting, it took us to our, I guess I've never done that before. Okay, so let's do Docker compose up, and we'll go to our browser, and we will see once this is running, shouldn't take long, we should see this working. So we have this 199, and we're just gonna say 200 now. There we go. We didn't see a 400, and there's our 200 there. Let's come to this one, and ooh, that's interesting that they're both the same. Let's just do like 150 just to make sure it's not a coincidence. So 150 there and 200 here. Let's double check. Yeah, so if I change this to 199 again, and I open here, 150, 199. Okay. All right, so that is working. We're gonna cross off this guy from this video here. We will make a commit. In the next video, we'll be taking a look back in the front end and trying to actually get some of these errors. We just do like ASD here. We don't see any error coming up. We just immediately finish the request, even though there was a 400 returned. So we're gonna take a look into handling those validation errors better, and I will see you in the next one.